Hello, my galactic soul family. Welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Witchy Vibes 11, aka Gabrielle or Gabbie. And real quick, if you are here watching this video, it's because you were guided to watch this video. You were guided to my channel. There's no such thing as coincidences. So if you are here, welcome, welcome, and welcome. You are exactly where you need to be. So hopefully everybody is doing well and they're feeling good. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. I'm a firm believer that if you raise your vibration, drop your ego, and, you know, focus on what makes you happy, you'll manifest the reality that brings you joy. You'll manifest the paradigm that brings you, happiness so that you can live life feeling abundant and, happy and joyful and, all that jazz. So hopefully you guys are living your best life and you're all doing well and your mental health is well and, the world that you choose to live in is treating you well. So tonight I wanted to talk to you guys about healers or healing. I'm going through some stuff that has just been, going through my brain a lot lately. I know I shared with you guys that my husband was just diagnosed with cancer and, been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of writing, a lot of integrating. And I wanted to share with you, some words of wisdom about being a healer or healing. And I wanted to share this with you because I feel that we are placed in life in places that we need to be to learn because, you may be watching or listening to this video and think that I'm teaching you, but I may be your teacher, but I'm a student, in a different aspect of my life, in a different area of my life. I'm still learning. And the universe is teaching me. My husband is teaching me. My daughter is teaching me. My higher self is teaching me. I'm being triggered left and right. A lot of things in my reality are being abruptly thrown at me. It's like I'm in the middle of a storm, but I'm learning how to weather this storm. It's like I'm the captain of this ship, and I know that if I venture out into the sea, that it's going to get rough. So, yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys about healing. I know that I'm a healer. We all have the capacity to heal ourselves, to nurture others, to nurture ourselves, to nurture their spirit, their energy. We also have, we also have the capacity to heal and nurture our spirit, our energy, and, our thoughts and intentions. Even though we are all on different paths, not all of us are called to heal, but there is a lot of us that are here on Gaia that are called to heal, and they're being called to heal. So if you're watching this video and you're new to all of this stuff, spirituality, healing, waking up, Gaia, just random little things. If you're new to all of this, if you're just waking up from that 9 to 5 being a programmed robot and you're here searching YouTube for spiritual videos and you came across this one, it's a possibility. It's because you're a healer. So like I said, we all have different paths and not all of us are called to heal. So if you're here and you're watching this, welcome. I've always known that I was a healer since I was a child, but I didn't give it much thought back then until I became an adult looking back. And I was like, oh, so all this shit that I went through in life, just thinking back about my life, started to make sense now that I'm, looking back upon my life and kind of documenting some of my life. Back then, I knew that I wanted to heal and help animals and people in general. It didn't matter if they were kids or adults. If I seen a homeless person, and I had, $1, I would go get them some fries. Back then, McDonald's was cheap. Or if I had a couple bucks in my pocket, because I used to get paid allowance, and I had responsibilities as a young child, and I got paid for my responsibilities. So if I had extra money, I would help out, if there was a homeless person, yeah, I would throw them a couple bucks. I didn't see the big deal. If there was a kid in school that, didn't have responsible parents for whatever reason, and they couldn't afford to get a bag of chips or an ice cream, I would get them an ice cream or a bag of chips or, whatever it was. Go to the corner store before you go to school and grab them a soda or a candy bar or whatever. If they were getting picked on in school, I'd want to help them. I'd want to protect them. I'd want to jump in, and I would want to fight their fight for them so that they wouldn't have to deal with it. I loved animals. I saved a lot of animals. I would bring home probably every single stray dog and cat that I would find, literally. I had at one point 30 cats hidden in my dad's garage, and I used my allowance money to go to the store and buy them cat food. They weren't like trapped in there. They couldn't go in and out because I left the door open, but I housed 30 cats at one time. My dad had back surgery, so he was laid up for a while, so he had no idea I had 30 cats in the garage, because you're probably wondering, how the hell did you have 30 cats without your parents knowing? Well, my parents were divorced, so it was only my dad. He had back surgery, so he was laid up and, unable to get into the garage to even, go out there for whatever reason. It's not like he was going to build anything because he was all, sore and had staples in his back and stuff. So, but when he did start to get better, he did go to his garage one day and found that there were 30 cats in the garage. And boy, did I get in trouble. Oh, not only were there 30 cats in the garage, I had found a Great Dane, and I had him in my backyard. And I gave them leftover food, stuff that I didn't eat. Oh, it was crazy. It was just crazy. So, yeah, I would save like every animal in the neighborhood. Yeah, I loved animals. I used to ride horses when I was younger, and I spent more time at the farm than I did going out with my friends. My friends were like, "What's wrong with you? You don't want to hang out with us?" And I'm like, "No, I'd rather be at the farm, riding horses, hanging out with the barn cats and the barn dog, and learning from the shoesmith how to shoe a horse." I was really interested in vet care. I wanted to be a veterinarian when I grew up. For large animals, for horses only, actually. And that was my life until I was about 15 years old, and then I took a different path. But yeah, so I was always helping people and animals when I was a child, but I didn't think of myself as a healer. But now that I'm an adult looking back, I'm like, wow, it all makes sense. I am a healer. I'm a healer. And I was doing a lot of that healing stuff when I was a child. And not only am I a healer, I'm an intuitive empath. When I was a child, not only was I doing the healing, but when I got sick, there were angelic beings that would heal me. I remember talking with spirit and energy. But when I was a kid, nobody believed me. My parents would say things like, I watch too much TV, or I live in a fantasy. But an angel visited me, not just one time in my life, but there's this one in particular story that I'm going to share with you. An angel visited me once when I was sick, and she healed me. Now, when I was a little girl, I used to get sick all the time. I used to get strep throat, bronchitis, and I had a lot of sinus infections. Since I was a little girl, I just remember having a lot of pills to take, and a lot of it was antibiotics for being real sick with respiratory illnesses. and really high fevers. And my father worked really hard, and my parents were divorced. So I didn't really have anybody to take care of me while my father was working. So when I was sick, I kind of just had to, take my pills, rest, and he would just call me to make sure I was okay. But I must have fell into when you get real sick and you get a fever and you just fall asleep because you're real like feverish and just really sick. Well, that happened to me. I also used to get a lot of ear infections too. So I got a really high fever. I remember my ear hurting, and I must have dozed off. And this angel healed me. I just remember being really sick and sweaty and going in and out of consciousness. And then all of a sudden waking up and feeling good. But as I was waking up and feeling good, this beautiful angel turned around and literally just walked into a hole into thin air. And her feathers were beautiful. And she was very tall. I'm not even sure if it was a she. I think it was a she. It felt like a feminine female energy because of the gown that I saw and the feathers and the hair. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it was a female, but it felt very female. And very bright, beautiful light. And I felt love and comfort. I felt happy. I felt calm. I felt really good. And for a moment, I heard music. But as the hole or thin air or whatever that it walked through, as soon as she walked through it and she disappeared, all of it stopped. Even the feelings and everything all just vanished and went away. I remember the rocking chair just going back and forth, rocking. I feel like she was sitting with me while I was out of it. And after that, I woke up and I had no more fever. My ear didn't hurt and I felt great. But, of course, I told my father what I experienced, and he said that I was hallucinating because of the fevers. I also remember being very magical. And when I say magical, I mean that I remember as a child that when I put my mind to something and I believed it, like really, really believed it. When you're a child and you fantasize stuff and you really believe in these things. And it's real believable because when you're a child, it's just like your fantasy level is like cranked up. Well, of course, I use that to my advantage. And I would do stuff and I would put my mind to it and I would believe in it and these things would happen. And while these things were happening, my body had a response to this believing feeling that was pulsating through my body. And I'll never forget this feeling because now as I manifest stuff, I still feel the same feeling today. And I would get this feeling in my gut and in my heart space. And it's like a pressure in a way with like a little bit of butterflies and I just can't even explain it. It's just a feeling that you get with like a crawling in your skin, but a good crawling. And your heart starts to beat like a little pulsating, fast little beat. It's a beautiful feeling. I'm trying to talk and think, but the clock is dinging and it's kind of distracting me. There, it stopped. But while I was manifesting, back then I used to call it being magical, but while I was manifesting, and today as I manifest, I visualize. And if I can visualize something, and I mean like really see it as if it was a memory, and if I could match that visualization with that feeling I get in my stomach, with the feeling of my heart and the feeling of the way my blood flows through my body, like a pulsating feeling, I can literally make whatever it is that I'm manifesting come into reality, come into fruition. However, as I got older, I stopped doing it. So then I had to relearn. And now that I'm back at that relearning phase in my life, it's like I don't have that strength I did when I was a child. I still have the strength, but not like I did when I was a child. So it's a little bit more work to do it now as an adult. But if you don't practice, it's kind of hard to manifest something if you don't practice. And it's really easy to give up, because if you're trying to get these feelings and these vibrations to match up and sync up with, you know, the energy around you and within you, and if you feel like you're not doing it right, you might lose the feeling of belief, and that's when manifestation won't happen, because you're not matching the vibration. But if you can match the vibration and you work on this every single day, I promise you guys that you will see magic, because it's real. I know I'm jumping way off track here, but my point is that growing up, I was a healer. As an adult, I still am a healer. And my whole entire life, I've always been a special kind of person. I just didn't realize it until I became an adult. And I've just been doing a lot of, thinking about my life and writing and stuff like that. And it's just starting to hit me like, wow, a lot of things that happened to me when I was younger, there was a reason for everything. So everything that we go through in life has a reason. There's a purpose for everything that you go through, even the bad shit that seems like you're never going to make it through the storm. There's a reason for that. And it's taken me a while, but perspective will really help you get by. If you can just change your perspective and see, if you're seeing something in a negative way, if you can change your perspective and see it in a way that it's benefiting you, that's going to help you. And it's going to help you in a lot of ways. It's going to raise your vibration. It's going to change the way that you think. It's going to change the energy within you. It's going to change the energy around you. You're going to start attracting different situations in your life, as long as you're, whatever you're attracting whatever you're feeling, whatever emotion you're feeling, whatever vibration you're holding is what you're going to attract to you. So my point is to hold a high vibration and to keep emotions flowing, and to stay in an emotion of calmness and faith and trust that everything that's going on in your life is happening for a purpose, for a reason, for you. For instance, if you're not careful and if you're not grounding yourself, and you're getting into this spirituality, and you're opening up to the realms around you, the energies around you, the ethereal world, and you're not grounded, you're going to attract what you're putting out. I've always attracted wounded people in my life, mentally or physically, or mentally and physically. I like to think of myself as a spiritual healer. And if you're attracting people, I don't know why I just heard wounded warrior. So a wounded warrior, if you're a wounded warrior, you're going to attract wounded people as a spiritual healer. And you fulfill their roles in different ways. I'm trying to think of a way to say this so it can make sense. Spiritual healers are shamans. They're like shamans in their own right. They're people who allow spirit to flow through them, that guides them, that rejuvenates them, and empowers them, and rejuvenates and empowers other people. So if you're not careful with the energy, the emotions that you're carrying, the energies that are flowing around you, you're going to be that wounded warrior that attracts those, other wounded souls your way. And those wounded souls are coming to you because if you're a healer, a spiritual healer, a wounded warrior, you're going to attract those people into your life, and you're going to be in that constant cycle of constantly having people or being in situations or relationships of people that are just like you. And at the moment that you're healing them, you can relate and understand them because you were in their shoes at one point. So you kind of like relate to their situation. And by relating to their situation and talking to them, giving them advice, you're in a way healing them, but you're not actually healing yourself. You're still a wounded warrior that's attracting wounded, warriors or souls, into your life. So the spiritual healer is always, in a sense, a wounded healer or a wounded warrior. In other words, by healing themselves, they heal others. By healing yourself, you heal others. And by healing yourself, you are a catalyst, because if you heal yourself, the people around you will see that you changed, and that may trigger them to also want to change. I feel that I'm a catalyst, and it's actually a part of my galactic signature. So I know I've shared this before. I'm a magnetic moon 11, and 11's like my number. I'm the year of the red crystal moon. My signature is kin 139. I'm blue storm, and my mantra is I pulse in order to catalyze, realizing energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of vision. If any of you guys are interested in, what your galactic signature is, I can help you out with that. Just, leave me a message down below. But I think even in my description, I share that information, what my kin number is. I know that it's in my info on my YouTube channel. But yeah, so I consider myself a catalyst. I've been working on myself a lot throughout the years, and I've become consciously aware of the fact that I am a light worker. I'm consciously aware that I was going to say was a wounded warrior, but I still kind of am a wounded warrior, because I feel that we graduate on different energetic levels. So I may not be on the level I was when I was a kid, but I still fall into being a wounded warrior and having to realize it and heal myself from that, so that I can heal others, to be the catalyst that creates the change so other people are able to heal themselves. So this brings me to the question: do you think that you are a healer, a spiritual healer? And I actually have some signs that I put together from my own experience, that I've journaled and I wrote down, that made me feel like I was a spiritual healer. Like these are things that popped up in my life, and talking to other people, these are things that popped up into their life. And I was like, wow, there's a connection here. It's a possibility that if you're resonating with this, it's because you're a light worker or a wounded warrior. So if you are a light worker or wounded warrior or a spiritual healer or a healer in general, you may experience things like being highly sensitive to energy, all energy, even spiritual energy, anything that is energy, the energy around you, picking up on the most subtle things in your reality at home. Everything is energy. So when I say energy, think outside the box, like open your mind completely. And literally, when I say energy, I mean every little thing, every detail, from the sparkle of the sun upon your face when it's creeping through the blinds and you're sitting on the couch and you're having a thought and boom, the sun hits your cheek and blinds you in the eye or whatever. Everything is energy. So you're really highly sensitive to energy, and everything is energy. You feel other people's emotions without them telling you what they're feeling. And you may even be able to feel their physical illnesses. So if they have a back pain, maybe you'll start having a back pain because you're picking up on their physical illness. I feel a lot of empaths, have that trait to pick up on people's physical pain and emotional pain as well. I know I've done a lot of videos on this, but we are all empathic. Some of us are just more aware that we are. And grounding yourself will help you, because it's not always, fun to pick up on people's emotional energy or physical energy, because there's a lot of people that are very ungrounded and they live a very chaotic life, and they will disrupt your peace if you're sitting in the doctor's office or the grocery store or on the bus or on the train with all of these energies, with all of these mixed emotions, and then you get off the bus or the train or whatever feeling frazzled and you don't even know why. It's because you've mingled with all of that dirty energy because you were ungrounded. And I don't mean dirty energy in a bad way, just, because you were ungrounded. Also, here's another sign that you may be a healer. You are intuitive and can read other people very, very, very easily without them even talking. You can just walk in and just know that person, the intentions of certain people just by a simple smile or a hello. You're really good. I know that I'm really good at reading energy. My husband didn't believe me for the longest time. He used to say that I was judging people, but it wasn't that I was judging people. I read their energy before I actually met them. And let me tell you, 9 times out of 10, I was right. And my husband will, if you asked him, he would tell you that I was right. So if you're a healer or a light worker, spiritual worker, energy worker, you're probably very intuitive and can read people very, very well. Again, I'd like to add that we are all intuitive because we are all divine. Just some of us are more aware that we're intuitive, and some of us have just been working on it a lot longer. But we all have the ability. So if you're watching this video and you're like, I don't know how to do that. Yes, you do. You just have to practice. Practice makes progress. In my earlier videos on YouTube, I do talk about clairs and stuff like that and how to use them and activate them. And if you're interested, leave a message down below and I'll update some of those videos or share some of those videos for you guys. Here's another sign that you may be a healer. You're a big picture thinker. You don't concern yourself with too many details. And I know that's true for me. I don't know if that's true for you, but I'm definitely a big picture thinker. Number 4, you've gone through a lot, like a lot of existential, like depression in your life. We learn and we grow through harsh lessons. So if you've gone through a lot of shit in your life that created depression and heartache and pain in your life, that's, what I was talking about in the beginning, change your perspective. Back then, I didn't know to change my perspective. So I was just like, oh, woe is me. I'm the victim. All these things always happen to me. And then, of course, being in that energy, I would keep, it was like, I was in this energy loop of just attracting the same stupid situation to me because I was like, yep, poor me, I'm the victim. Of course I would lose my job because only me would lose my job on Christmas time, or whatever the case may be. I always played the victim, so I always was in that energy, and I was always caught up in the same repeated patterns over and over and over again until I realized it, understood it, changed my perspective, and raised my vibration, and stopped being the victim. And a lot of that shit has changed. So we actually grow through a lot of those harsh lessons if you can realize that what's going on in your life is a lesson and or a blessing, or both. Number 5, you felt like an outcast for most of your life. I know myself and a lot of people that I've spoken to throughout the years that I've mentored or talked to or, shared my life with. A lot of them are healers, and I feel that most healers know that they are different. And I feel like they never really ever fit into anybody's group. I know I've never been a person that had a clique. I was always in everybody's cliques. Like I used to pop around. I knew everybody from every clique in school. And like I made my own little like everybody had a box, and I was never really placed in a box. Like I had a fun house. And a lot of those people used to gravitate towards me every now and then. So I've always felt like an outcast, but at the same time, a lot of people gravitated towards me. So I was never really alone. There were times that I did feel alone, but I was never really alone for long. Number 6, you may think differently than other people. I know I think differently from other people because I'm a big picture thinker. So I definitely think way different from, I just, like, I see different perspectives. Back then I didn't know it, that I would see things in different ways, but I didn't know that it was me seeing things in perspective. But now that I'm an adult, oh, you heard that? That was bells. I hit bells. I'm giving out wings, guys. But yeah, so I definitely think differently from other people. So if you think differently from other people, there's nothing wrong with you. You're a very special person. Number 7, you may be a healer if you get very overwhelmed in public. And I know I just talked about that. Back to the example of riding the train or the bus or being in the grocery store. And we get very overwhelmed in public easily because, we were never taught how to protect our energy, how to allow energy to move through our bodies. So energy just slams into us, gets stuck into us, and it just creates chaos depending on where you're at and what the energy is like when you're there. So yeah, I do get very overwhelmed in public places. When I was younger, it wasn't so bad. I mean, there were times that I needed, that I could be in a place for a certain amount of time, and it was a lot longer than I can deal with it now. Now that I'm older, and it's weird because now that I'm older, I know how to ground myself and all that, and I don't like to be around people for a long period of time. I like to be alone. I really do. I like to be alone. I like to be with people, but I also like to be alone. It's really weird. Some people don't get it, but yeah. I don't like to go out to clubs. I don't like to go out to the restaurant to eat. I like to go to the grocery store early in the morning because that's the best time to go. There's not a lot of people there. Um, I, I just don't like to do things around a lot of people anymore. I don't like to go to parades. I don't like to go to carnivals. I don't like to go to amusement parks. I hate all that shit now. I used to love all that back in the day, but now that I'm older, I just don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I don't get anything from it. Um, I like to go to the movies, but I like to go to certain theaters that I know that are old, because the new ones is where all the people go. And so I go to the old one because nobody really goes to the old ones, and you go inside the theater and it's really empty, and I love it. I just like my space because people really do overwhelm me. Number 8, you, if you are a spiritual healer, you may struggle with anxiety or have a lot of panic attacks. And again, because we were never taught to ground ourselves and to protect our energy, and we don't protect our energy, it affects our nervous system. And when our nervous system gets all wonky, we start to have panic attacks. We start to experience anxiety. And also has the way we eat, the way we think, the way we process emotions, all of that has to do with anxiety and panic as well. Number 9, you may be a healer if you are the peacemaker in your family, in your relationship with anybody. You're the peacemaker between people. I can speak for myself. I try to avoid situations that are ugly. Back in the day, however, I used to jump in and I used to go at it, and I was like the fighter, like I would love to fight. If somebody looked at me sideways, I would start a fight. If somebody got loud with me, I would start a fight. But over the years, I feel soft. I'm not weak, but sometimes I feel soft. And it's not that I'm letting people walk all over me. It's just that I pick and choose how I'm going to expel my energy. So I don't even really waste a lot of my energy on unnecessary stuff. But when I see other people battling it out, I kind of just try to defuse the situation and walk away. Walk away. You know, you'll look younger, you'll have less wrinkles, you won't have heartburn, or you won't mess up your digestive system if you just take a deep breath and walk away. You'll feel so much better. Number 10, you're the confidant people turn to in a time of need. Now, again, I can only speak for myself because I do feel that way sometimes. A lot of people do call me and have a lot of confidence in me to talk to me, to tell me things that are very personal. And I feel like maybe it's because I share a lot of my life with people, or they've witnessed that I've went through a lot in my life, so I can relate possibly to their situation. So they feel comfortable opening up to me, and that's okay. That's okay. I even get it at the grocery store too. I'll be standing in line, and literally if we're standing in a long line, the person in front of me or the person behind me will start to tell me stuff that I didn't even ask them to. I'll know everything about people before we walk out, before we cash out. I'll know that they're divorced, they had 3 kids. I'll know everything. And I won't even know who they are. Number 11. You may experience a lot of digestive issues. I just literally talked about this 2 seconds ago. And you're getting those digestive issues due to anxiety, fear, stress, because you don't ground yourself. You don't know how to process emotions, your energy, because your emotions are energy. And if you allow chaotic energy or emotions to come at you, it's going to frazzle your nervous system, and your nervous system controls your digestive system. So everything everything flow. Everything has a flow. So if you mess up one thing in that flow, you're going to mess up everything. You got to think of your energy like a river flowing perfectly down the riverbank. Now if a beaver comes in and builds a dam, you're going to ruin the flow of that river and then create floods on lands where, animal like horses and cows are, and then that is going to cause a chain reaction to the human taking care of those animals because their land is flooded, and oh god, it just goes on and on and on. So yeah, everything has a flow. Number 12, you may experience a lot of lower back pain or even groin pain. That groin, it's all root chakra. Lower back, groin. You may even gain weight around your stomach. And that's all due to blocked chakras, blocked root chakras, or depending on where it is in your back. Most of the time it's lower back. Not all the time, but most of the time it's lower back. So that's your blocked root chakra. And when you're experiencing that, it's because it's caused by fear and trauma, and most likely fear and trauma that you have not faced in your own life. And you're probably still opening yourself up to other people bringing their fear and trauma into your life with your unresolved childhood fear and trauma and current adult fears and trauma. So all of that is energy, which creates emotion, which creates illnesses because, it creates blockages in your energy, which creates illnesses in your body, creating those pains, those back pains, that weight gain. I don't know what number I left off on. I think 13. 13. You may experience feeling very tired, very drained after spending too much time around people. Actually, I think I just talked about that. I think I wrote that a lot of times. Feeling drained around people. And that's due to not knowing how to ground yourself, allowing energy vampires to feed off of you. They mostly just feed off of your good energy. If you're a happy person and you're always happy, you'll attract those people that are not happy. So they feed off of your happiness and they steal your it's like they're stealing their happiness from you. But also, your friends, your family, your spouse could also be a person that's creating fear in your life, chaos in your life, so that they can feed off of that fear. So they could be a fear energy vampire, or they can just be an energy vampire in general. 14. Sensitive beings like children and animals will tend to gravitate towards you or around you. And they do that because they're attracted to your light. They can see your light. They can feel your light. So if you're a healer, you may notice that a lot of children like to come into your space. I was at a picnic, not last summer, but a couple summers ago, and this little girl that I don't even know who she was, I don't even know whose kid she was. I was sitting on the picnic bench, and she just came right up to me and sat on my lap and looked me right in the face and said, "Hello." And I was just looking around like, oh my God, whose kid is this? Yeah. And then she became like my best friend at the party. She was like my only friend. But yeah, even like stray cats gravitate towards me. I have this belief that if I was to be alone in the woods and I would be surrounded by wolves, I feel like they wouldn't harm me. I feel like I could befriend a wolf. That might be a little far-fetched, but I really don't fear wolves or anything like that. I feel like I could attract them to me in a good way. I mean, I live in the country now and I'm already attracting birds. They come and tap on my window because, they want me to feed them and stuff. Squirrels. I got squirrels running up to me when I'm outside. It's so weird. Chipmunks, squirrels, stray cats, deer. Number 15. People tend to dump their emotional baggage on you for you to deal with. Again, energy vampire, your vibe, but remember this, your vibe attracts your tribe, okay? Your vibe attracts the wounded. So if you're a wounded warrior and you haven't faced your shit, you haven't done your shadow work, you're going to continue to attract other wounded warriors into your reality because they trust you and they crave your healing. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of them dumping their emotional baggage on you, change your vibe, face your fears, overcome it. Doesn't mean you can't help these people. It just means you'll get less wounded warriors in your life. And that's a good thing. Number 16, you don't think in black and white. You think in the shades of gray, meaning you don't see right or wrong. You understand. You try to see different perspectives of a situation. You seek balance. So you see in shades of gray. I know that when I was younger and a teenager, things were very black and white for me. But as I got older, I started to see in shades of gray. Number 17, you're aware of the interconnection of life, and you respect life and everything around you. Flowers, birds, trees, rocks, everything, like anything. The water, I don't know if I said the sky, the grass, the house, everything. You start to realize everything is connected in life. Everything is energy. And you start to understand, that everything is energy, and you're grateful of it being there, being beautiful, smelling good, or giving you like water, giving you life, air, allowing you to breathe, and you're learning from it, and you're feeling an emotion of joy and happiness, and you feel very grateful, and it fills you with love. Really, that's what it is. It's love. Number 18, you believe in synchronicities. You believe in something that is a synchronicity. It's that energy that is popping up into your realm, into your reality. You believe that it's not a coincidence. You don't believe in coincidences. You believe in energy, synchronicities. You believe that there is a meaning for everything that you're seeing that matches with your vibration. And I feel like there's no such thing as coincidences. There are no coincidings, okay? Everything is energy, and everything has a meaning. That's what I believe. Number 19, you have a history of healers in your family. So you might come from a family that maybe your mom's a nurse, or your grandmother's a nurse, or a psychologist. I don't know if I have any nurses. My daughter went to school to be a CNA. My cousin is a massage therapist, an energy worker. So I do definitely come from a family of healers. I'm being guided, to do energy work, but I'm going at my own pace. I've taken a couple of Reiki classes, but I'm slowly getting there, little by little. Again, I'm going at my own pace. Let me see here. Number 20, you've experienced major trauma in your life. Maybe you lost your mother, your father, one of your siblings, or like a spouse or a best friend, loss in your family or personal life. Maybe you have experienced a life-threatening illness in yourself, or maybe somebody you love, a near-death experience. Maybe you've suffered with a physical, something very physical, something sexual or emotional, some sort of an abuse. Maybe you were in a war, or maybe you struggle with mental illness. I really believe that everything that I just mentioned are triggers. They're triggers that your human needed to help your being grow on your soul journey. So all these things had to happen. They may have looked like something awful, but they're lessons. They're lessons for you to grow spiritually in your life, even though they're horrible, horrible, horrible. Some of these things could have been so horrible. I'd like to think that things that are the worst that happen to you are the biggest blessings to help you grow. Now, not a lot of people will agree with that, but that's just perspective. Number 21. Number 21 is kind of universal. You've gone through a spiritual awakening, because there's a lot of us that are not healers that have gone through a spiritual awakening. I feel like I've been going through this quote unquote, you don't see me doing air quotes, but quote unquote spiritual awakening. I feel like I've probably been waking up bit by bit my whole entire life. And now that I'm an adult, I'm just realizing that, looking back, it's like, wow, all of that's been implemented into my life was to help me grow. And I'm literally consciously aware of why that was put into my life, why that situation happened to me. That is me growing spiritually. 22. Again, this is a universal one. You've experienced the dark night of the soul. I feel like we all experience the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul for me is the longer that you walk on your path, the dark night of the soul is nothing more than endings and new beginnings. It's like the beginning of this chapter, you got to go through the dark night of the soul, and then the ending of your chapter, dark night of the soul. So the dark night of the soul is just something to help you begin something amazing and to end something to be amazing, or, to move on to the next level or chapter. I mean, I've had some really fucked up dark night of the soul. I shared with you guys, if you've been following me for a long time, I've had a time in my life that I literally tried to take my life. That's how deep and dark that dark night of the soul, that chapter of my life was. I've had some in-between moments that were not as dark. But again, I'm maturing on my journey. I'm not young Gabbie. I'm, wiser Gabbie. So I feel like the way I see things, I control my path, my journey. I control my life. So I choose, how I act is what the turnout is going to be. And if I choose to be immature and see things black and white, my dark night of the soul is going to be really fucked up. But if I, go through the dark night of the soul and I can change my perspective and see some gray in there, it might still be rough, but it won't be as rough, if that makes sense. Let me see. Number 23. This is also universal. You tend to use the right side more than the left side. The left side is your logic, and your right side is your creative. I feel like a lot of us that are very intuitive, empathic, again, we are all intuitive and empathic, but those of us that know that we are, I feel that we are more creative. We are more right-sided, right side thinking. We go through life as the creator, and we don't really go through life as the person that tries to make everything logic. Because in order to manifest, you have to drop logic and just believe in what you create, even if it's fucking bizarre. If you believe it, it shall be. And that's that. Number 24, you experience chronic pain in your body. I just talked about this with the back pain. You might even have autoimmune diseases and energetic blockages. And again, this is, literally because we are never taught properly, I'm going to say it again, how to move energy. And energy is emotions. It's energy in motion. And if we don't know how to move that energy through us, those motions can get bogged up and, hold energy in certain areas, causing blockages. And when you get blockages, you get illnesses like autoimmune diseases and stuff like that. Number 25, you might be sensitive to like Wi-Fi energy, EMF, electromagnetic frequency, electromagnetic hypersensitivity. I'm very hypersensitive to energy. I feel when the geomagnetics are about to go off the chart and into the red, I feel them days in advance. And I usually get a lot of pain in my body, a massive, massive migraine. I get really drained. I get very thirsty. I can sometimes even feel the electricity on my skin. Like, it's weird. It's a weird feeling. And then a few days later, I'll look and the geomagnetics on the chart will be like off the chart. So I'm definitely hypersensitive to that. My Wi-Fi box, my router is downstairs, and I have shungite. I wear shungite, but I also have shungite around it to kind of control it in that area. So because I have the shungite around it, it doesn't really have the strength to reach, into other areas of the house, and I'm okay with that. I'd rather have it controlled like that than really messing with me, because it can make you very sick, and it can also cause a lot of migraines and vertigo and physical illnesses within your body. Number 26, you tend to attract people who need fixing. I think I covered that already with the energy vampires and all that. Remember, your vibe attracts your tribe, blah, blah, blah. So if you're holding that vibration, you're going to attract those kind of people. So you want to remember to kind of like, face your shit, face your fears, deal with your own shadow work, so you don't keep bringing that into your reality as a projection. Number 27, I think I covered that too, with people gravitating towards you because you're a great person to talk to, you're a listener, all that. Number 28, let me see. You're drawn naturally to healing professions. Yeah, I kind of think so, because I feel like me doing this, talking to you guys on YouTube is kind of in a way healing for some people. But I also do practice, like not as a career, but just for myself, holistic shit to keep myself and my family healthy. And sometimes I share those tips with my friends and family, and even here on YouTube. So I feel that I'm naturally drawn to healing professions in a way. Even in careers, I've had careers that had to, like, in real estate, selling, renting. You're helping people. You're helping to put a house over people's heads. You're helping to find them a place to live that they can call home and raise their families in. So yeah, you're naturally drawn to healing professions. And that's just an example for me. And it doesn't just have to be like, what I've done, but it's, to help other people experience and balance wholeness in their life. trying to read my notes around it, but they're so messy I can't even read what I wrote. I know that I wrote that I wrote something here. It says, by the age of 15, for me, by the age of 15, you'll feel like you lived a full life, and you'll have many stories to share by the age of 40 and up. We all have busy lives with a ton of triggers. I think I was just writing my notes on the side, but by the time I was 15, I really did have a lot of stories to share. I moved out when I was 15. I got my first job when I was 15. I had my child. I got pregnant with 16 and gave birth when I was 17 because it was like in the middle of being 16. I was a young mom. I've done so many different jobs in my life. How's the saying go? My brain is like, the. I wore many different hats in my life. I can't think of the saying. I know one of you guys will write it down below. Master of none. Definitely a master of none. Can't believe I forgot that little saying. Let me see what else here. There's a lot of things that I wrote that are kind of like what I've already talked about. Yeah, that's basically it. So how many of these signs that I spoke about, how many of them can you identify with? And what can you add to this? Is there anything that maybe I left out or maybe that you'd like to share? Because I would definitely like to add this to my journal and see if I can relate to it and see if that's something, that can help me. So please feel free to share and write something down below, how many of these signs resonated with you and, were you able to identify with anything that I spoke about? And maybe share why you were able to identify if you feel up to it, only if you feel guided to. And even add to it, like I said, if there's anything that helped you out that I didn't, talk about, definitely, let's talk about it. So, as a healer, you guys, and to heal, and to live your best life is to start within yourself. You don't necessarily have to keep searching for people like me on YouTube and listen and watch videos on how to fix yourself, because you're not broken. You just need confidence to go within yourself to figure all this shit out yourself. And the best way to do that is get a pad of paper and a pen and journal. Journal everything and how it makes you feel, and meditate. That may be a little cliche for some of you, but honestly, meditate. And you can find so many different kinds of meditation videos on YouTube. And what helped me at the very beginning was guided meditations. Nature is another way that could help you, learn how to go within and heal yourself. And you don't need a tutorial on how to go out into nature to heal. I don't need to tell you what to do so that you can heal. Just go take a walk and sit in a park, sit by some water, and just observe what's going on around you. And then pay attention to how that makes you feel on the inside. And things will start to shift and change within your heart space. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I want you guys to really focus on your health. Pay attention to what you're consuming food-wise. Stay hydrated. Drink water. Don't drink anything else. Quit buying orange juice from the store and apple juice. That shit's no good for you. If you want orange juice, buy an orange, squeeze it, then drink it. you know. Try to buy organic if you can afford it. If you can't, really just wash your food the best you can, cook it the best you can. Make water your like number one liquid to drink. Limit your sugar. If you don't like plain water, add some fruit to it. I add lemon and lime to my water. Not because I don't like the way water tastes. It just, you know, kinds of, I just enjoy lemon and lime. It kind of like spruces it up. Definitely limit your stress. If there's something in your life that's stressing you out, stop letting it stress you out. Even if you feel like it's because you're having a hard time with money, stop believing you have a hard time with money and start believing that you are abundant. And you just have to believe. I mean, if you're really new at this, it might be really hard to take that advice. But I promise you, if you change the way you think, if you raise your vibration and you think positively, everything around you will shift positively. So if you keep saying you're broke, if you keep saying you're sick, if you keep saying, you know, negative things about yourself, you're going to keep attracting that shit into your life. And to heal yourself physically, mentally, spiritually from all of this, you literally have to go within and work on yourself. Clear the fear from your life, do the shadow work in your life, eliminate stress. I know everything that's happening with what's going on in 2020 and 21 and going into 22, you know, you have to believe that you are sovereign and none of this is affecting you, and just believe that you are divine and let go of negative shit. I mean, it's not easy. It's challenging. But, you know, you got to crawl before you can run, right? And start small. Start with like, I don't know, just small stuff. Easy stuff. Easy stuff. All right, guys. And start taking your vitamins too and your minerals like, you know, D, C, selenium, magnesium. Pay attention to that stuff. I'm trying to give you guys like some really good advice before I let you go. And if you can't pronounce the ingredients on food that you're buying from the store, don't eat that shit because that shit ain't good for you. I'm reading this book about health, and let me tell you, like, I want to throw everything away that's in my cupboards right now. Anyways, I love you guys. I'm here for you guys. And I'm always thinking about you guys, even though I'm not doing videos all the time. It's just that there's so much going on in my life and trying to just like deal with it and integrate it and stuff like that and hold a high vibration and not let this shit affect me. I mean, I'm only human, so I will have my moments. I'm like not looking forward to having those moments, but it's just that I'm trying to live healthy and happy and stress-free and be positive as I can be. That, you heard my phone ring? That's validation. Okay, guys, again, I love you. I am still doing tarot card readings and past life readings by donation and numerology readings. So if you're interested, please, you know, hit me up down below. I have all of my information for all of my services down below in the description area. Wow, I can't believe that this video is over an hour. Thank you. If you're still listening, thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking around. I really do appreciate you. I am grateful. And if I helped you, even if it's just one of you guys that stuck around till the end, you know, I'm cool with that. That makes me happy. I love you. Bye.